What's up, Coulers? So I've been on this run for a few months now, and thankfully I've gained a pretty good following for the short time that I've been kind of doing this soccer-specific, Barca-focused type content. And I thought now's as good a time as ever to, ingratiate myself more with the people watching and have you guys get to know me a little better. So I set up a Q&A. You can ask any sports-related question or maybe more personal questions to me, obviously within reason. I posted it on my Facebook page, and I've got a few good questions I'd really like to answer. So most of these questions were in Arabic, but I've translated them, so I'm able to still answer them. Muaz Mustafa asks, you seem to be very respectful and I follow you from Alexandria. How old are you and from which government? First of all, thank you, Muaz. I'm currently 28 years old, and I'm not from any government in Egypt. I live in Canada, actually. And I've been living here since I was 7 years old. I moved from the United States. Next question is, what Arabic food do you like the most? Look, I understand it probably makes me seem really basic, but honestly, nothing beats hummus. Hummus, or hummus for the North American people out there. Hummus is just the best thing in the world. You can feed me hummus for the rest of my life, and I'll probably be okay. Like, I can get by on hummus, Tim Hortons, and pizza probably for the rest of my life. Sarah Ahmed asks, which is your favorite soccer team? What team do you think it is, Sarah? First of all, Sarah, thank you for the question. I'd like to answer your question with another question. What team do you think it is? Based on some of the videos you've seen on this channel. Nana Mahmoud asks, why do you cheer for foreign teams and not the Arab and Egyptian teams when you are almost Egyptian? I wish you more success. First of all, thank you so much. Second, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, almost Egyptian. My family is from Jordan. I'm of Jordanian descent. So you hit the nail on the head with almost. I'm almost Egyptian, but I'm not. I mean, as for foreign teams, yeah, I'm a Jordanian Canadian. And when I first started watching soccer, there wasn't really a local scene. There was only like one professional team, which was Toronto FC. Yeah, like most Canadian kids of my generation, there wasn't really much going on. So any soccer fans would just look to foreign leagues. And the first team that caught my attention was Barcelona. You know, I saw Ronaldinho doing his thing, absolutely smoking dudes on the field. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love, with his style of play and with the team. You know, even after Ronaldinho transferred away, I stuck with it, and here I am today. But I have a lot of love still for Jordanian football, obviously. I've been there. I've seen the Jordan national team match. I watched, back in 2015, I watched Jordan versus Kyrgyzstan in the stadium. And even though the game was 0-0, it was like such a great time. And my favorite team in Jordan is for a very specific reason. Now, most people in Jordan, at least from Amman, where my parents are from, are either Al-Wahdat fans or Al-Faisali fans. Those are kind of the big two, especially in Amman, but kind of they historically dominated Jordanian soccer since the 80s, right? Things changed. I went on vacation in 2015 with my family, and I actually met in person members of the Sahab SC team. It's the first time I ever got to meet professional players. I watched their training session, I took videos, I met the players and coaches. It was so cool. And I'll always appreciate my cousins for being able to get that to happen. So even though in Jordanian soccer, they're not very impressive in the grand scheme of things, my favorite team is Sahab, which is a team from the far outskirts of Amman. I think technically it might even be its own city, but it's kind of part of the Amman greater area, if that makes any sense. So since that day, when I was a teenager in 2015, I met the team. I was like, yeah, these are my guys. I know there's bigger, more impressive teams. There's Faisali, there's Wahdat, there's Al-Ramtha, which is kind of like the big third team, Al-Hussein Irbid, stuff like that. There's some really storied clubs in the country, and I have a lot of respect for each one of them. But I don't know. I think it was too personal for me. I just Sahab is with me, and they yo-yo up and down the divisions all the time. So they're getting relegated, they're getting promoted back, etc., etc. But I'm with them through and through. I've showed it in one of my shorts. Actually, I have two of their jerseys that I got at different times. And to address your Egypt question, yeah, I'm not Egyptian, but like I've said before, I kind of keep my eye on the entire world of football. So obviously, I have a favorite Egyptian team, and it might not be the one you're expecting. I referred to this in a video, but it was a short video. So my team is actually Ismaili, and I don't know, something about this team. I like how low key they are. They have a history. They have a heritage. They have a great fan base, even though they're far behind Ahli and Zamalek, of course. But I felt like as someone who's not Egyptian, when I was learning more about Egyptian soccer, and I wanted a team to kind of like, I guess. That's how I go in most like other countries aside from my own, and of course aside from Barcelona. That's kind of how I choose. I just like, I would discover a league or like look into a league and be like, what team should be my favorite in this league? And I would just go based on any random criteria. Sometimes I'm just cheering a team that I think has a funny name. Sometimes I'm cheering a team with colors, with a color combination that I like. Sometimes I really like the story or the fan base. Other times I'll just cheer like whatever the oldest team in that country is, like the most team with the most heritage, etc., etc. It's really arbitrary, and my reasoning can change every single time. So I just kind of chose Ismaili because I'm like, well, cheering for Al Ahly or Zamalek is kind of boring. You know what I mean? And I don't have much connection with them since I'm not Egyptian. So I was like, let me find someone else. And I saw Ismaili. I'm like, they used to be good. They got a great fan base. They're from I think the third largest city in Egypt, if I'm correct. So I'm like, yeah, those are my guys. And yeah, unfortunately they suck ass right now. But here's to better days ahead, my Ismaili brothers. Next question is, what is the connection between the Cowboys of America? There's no connection. There's like zero connection. I just thought it'd be funny. I just thought like a Barcelona superfan that's also a Cowboy for some reason was funny, and that's why the character became a thing. There's really no deeper lore or meaning, I guess. I guess like I'm a North American. I'm born in the United States in Louisiana, which has a Southern cowboy tradition, of course. But I've lived in Canada since I was 7 years old, and we actually do have cowboys in this country too. Alberta, and to a lesser extent Saskatchewan, they have a very like they have a deep appreciation for like rural culture, cowboys and ranching and farms and stuff like that. That's as far as I know. Obviously, I live in Ontario, which is like super far away from Alberta. So, but I know we got a cowboy thing going on too, just not here in the province that I live. Ahmed Aula asks, do you love American football? I'm guessing you mean like gridiron, hand egg type football. I don't like to love it, but again, I'm a sports nerd, so I kind of keep my attention on everything. You know what I mean? I try and keep an eye on everything, and I just love sports. So obviously, I got my teams. I could probably show you actually. I have some favorite teams. When it comes to the gridiron, I always appreciate the program from my home city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Trying to get this here. Oh my god, I really have to back up. The LSU Tigers, baby, go Tigers! We also do gridiron football here in my country in Canada. We have a pretty established league called the CFL, the Canadian Football League, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats are my favorite team in that league. Now, in the biggest gridiron league of all time, the NFL, I'm a Saints man through and through. Next question, which country do you love other than Canada and wish to settle there, and why? Now, I'll be honest, I don't really have any plans on leaving. I love where I live. But if for whatever reason, maybe a big work opportunity or I'm moving for some other reason, I don't know. I don't see many situations where I would move permanently. Hey, maybe, if I ever gain the means, I might be one of those like snowbirds. And for those who don't know what a snowbird is here in Canada, it's basically people who leave during the winter months to warmer places. Traditionally, a lot of them go to Florida. Although with the relations between the U.S. and Canada now, there's actually less people going to the United States. But yeah, snowbirds will go the winter months, they'll go elsewhere and then come back to Canada for the spring and summer. Maybe I'll do that if I ever have the means, of course. I got a lot of love in my heart for Jordan, for obvious reasons, for my background. Maybe I'd go there. I've always been fascinated by Australia and its culture. So who knows, maybe I'll go there, maybe I'll snowbird there. But yeah, like other places that I just have like an interest in without having any real connection. I've always, obviously, the sheer amount of Japanese media I consume, between video games, TV shows, pro wrestling, sports, stuff like that, I'd love to go to Japan and at least visit, obviously. I mean, that's a pretty generic answer. Every dude in the Western world wants to go to Japan, you know what I mean? That's like typical. But hey, I'm no different. I've always been interested in the country and its culture and its media, so why wouldn't I go? And speaking of the general region around Japan, I've always just had like an interest and fascination with East Asian culture in general. So South Korea, China, Taiwan, stuff like that. I've always just thought those places were cool from the outside looking in. Just as a foreigner, I'm always like, oh, those places look neat. You know what I mean? They're my style. Ever since I was a little kid, I just thought those places were so cool. In Europe, I've always found Ireland and Poland to be really interesting places. Maybe because they have such large diasporas outside of their own countries. So they have a big impact on the culture of my country, the culture of my region, and the culture of the world. There's a lot of Irish and Polish people with massive diasporas abroad. So I've always kind of been interested, I guess, in their homeland. I'm like, what is their home country like? So I like to, study up on Irish and Polish history and just see what's going on. The culture, politics, and stuff like that. It's just a cool, academic fascination from a foreigner. And Iman Abdo asks, what are your hobbies? Oh boy, I was waiting for you all to ask this. So obviously, aside from soccer and sports, I got a few hobbies. I think birds are neat. I think flowers are pretty dope. Dunya E. Muhammad asks, where are you working and in which country do you live? So right now, one of my main jobs is for League One Ontario, which is a semi-professional league here in Ontario, Canada, which is just one step down from being professional. So all the teams are semi-professional, so they have some professionals and some amateurs, relatively smaller organizations, in a lot of places that don't have professional teams, but also some that do, and they're more developmental. And I oversee the games. I mostly oversee the FC London games because that's the closest thing to me. But I've overseen a lot of different teams in the league. I just ensure standards compliance. I update our application. We do social media. We just make sure everything is going well and that the match runs smoothly, essentially. It's a great job. I just get a front row seat to a bunch of League One Ontario games, and I get to see the future of our league firsthand. Some incredible players have gone pro. Nurhan Khalid asks, which club do you like amongst the Arab teams? Now, like I've said before, I like soccer across the entire world. So obviously in basically every Arab country, I have a team that I like, that I prefer. I won't list every single one because we're just going to be here all day. There's a lot of Arab countries, of course. But I'll mention some of the most notable ones. Obviously, I mentioned before that in Egypt that I like Ismaili SC. In Jordan, I mentioned that I like Sahab. And perhaps what is the most famous Arab league now in Saudi Arabia, my favorite team is Al Shabab. In Morocco, I like Kenitra because one of my best friends, Classlessgent, aka Rexwo, has a background from there. I decided to be a homie and I made that team my favorite in Morocco. Tunisia, I like Sfaxien. In Emirat, in the UAE, I like Sharjah. In Qatar, I like Al Shamal. In Syria, I like Al Ittihad Aleppo. In Algeria, I like Relizane, RC Relizane. Yeah, they're not good right now. They're in the 3rd division. But I like them because they have a similar crest to FC Barcelona. I thought it was cool, so I'm like, these are my guys. Man, I'm suffering for that now. Taghreed Ali asked, do you like to talk about politics? No. And what's your favorite sport? Obviously, soccer or football is my number one, of course. That's kind of the whole point of this channel. Probably right now, I would say my second favorite sport would probably be motorsports. This is the NASCAR Canada series. Yeah, obviously I mess with Formula 1, of course. I enjoy MotoGP as well and stuff like that. In general, I just enjoy most types of motorsports. Anyway, thank you to everyone who submitted questions. It was great to be able to tell you guys more about myself. Thank you for all the support so far, and I'll be back with another video soon.